So these are tips for NCLEX from someone who has already tested. Okay, so I obviously don't always wear makeup, but I was supposed to have a video interview for a pediatric home health job that I'm taking. Since my ER residency got pushed back, I went out and looked for other options. So my phone interview was supposed to be at 4:30, which is now, but it got pushed back till 6 p.m. So I figured I'm already ready. Why not record this video for you guys? I have my little list of notes here. Tips after testing. If you guys don't know, or this is your first time seeing this video, I have two, or maybe I only did 2 videos on studying for NCLEX, and then I did a 30-day cram plan. My first video regarding NCLEX, if you guys haven't seen it, is how to prepare for NCLEX, and it was, wow, that's annoying. It was 10 tips on how to create your NCLEX study plan, what resources I started using, which was way too many, and then I made another video regarding my master study plan, and I wrote all of that stuff out. I've been getting a couple questions on my Instagram of people asking me to make that available for them, because I wrote down all the Saunders pages, all of the UWorld questions, the number of UWorld questions they had on each topic. So I will hopefully, I'm doing a lot, the most, all the time. But I'm thinking that I can make that digital for you guys, or either through my iPad or with like Excel or Google Sheets or something like that, and just make that available for you guys to download through my Etsy shop. So comment down below and let me know if that is something that you would like to see. Otherwise, I just won't do it. Third video regarding NCLEX was the 30-day cram plan, and then I had a 30-day Etsy download, so you can make your own and write in the subjects that you're focusing on, and so on and so forth. But after rewatching all of those videos and reading all the comments, and even doing the question and answer video that I uploaded for you guys 2 days ago now, I think that I wanted to go back and reevaluate how I studied and give you guys some tips regarding how I studied, what I would change, and what I think is important for you guys to know regarding NCLEX. My eye is twitching. Can you see it? Okay. 1, do questions daily. I saw that if I took 2 days off in a row, even if I was trying to make up the questions according to my study plan, my brain kind of like got out of the testing mode. So another question that I had was, did I do questions the day before or the day of the test? And the answer is yes. I wouldn't suggest that for everybody. I just know that my brain needs to get warmed up. So I did the UWorld questions on the easy level, and then I also did the NCSBN questions. I didn't really use that a lot, but going back and looking at it, the NCSBN question bank had the same amount of vagueness in the questions that NCLEX had. So I did a couple of UWorld questions and a couple of questions from the NCSBN the day before and the day of, since I took my test at 4 p.m. Number 2, break your big tasks into smaller pieces. So I was doing 75 plus questions a day. I started with blocks of 10 or 25. So getting your brain warmed up, you can't just, well, I personally, you can. I can't sit down and just hammer out 75 questions. I lose focus super easily, ADHD right here. So I started with blocks of 25 or blocks of 10 just to get my brain warmed up, and then went back and looked at the rationale for like the first 2 blocks, and then went back and did a whole entire overview of all of the questions that I did that day. UWorld is hard, but the rationale is awesome. I do not think that NCLEX was the same difficulty level as UWorld, but the rationale and the way that UWorld explains it helps you develop those critical thinking skills for NCLEX. Tip number 3, because UWorld was kind of just an insert. Tip number 3 is stay calm and give yourself affirmations. So I do affirmations for all of my tests. I do affirmations every morning. Say it out loud, say it in the mirror, say it until you believe it. So my test day affirmations specifically were, I'm smart, I'm confident, I am not anxious, I'm excited to show what I know, and I am a registered nurse in the state of, insert your state here. So I think that affirmations just really help me ground myself and decrease that test day anxiety. So let me know some of your affirmations if you do them, if you've never heard of them before, but start doing it and throw in a little power stance while you're at it. It's awesome. It's just changed my outlook and positivity and mindset, but I'll stop ranting on that. Or I was getting a lot of questions on how to write down rationale. Did I write down all of the rationale? And all of the rationale, I would say, no, I didn't write down, like not word for word, but I did do bullet points of what was important. Hopefully I can find all of my study papers and put in a image right here so you guys can see how I wrote down my rationale. Just quick bullet points. I made a page for each topic or each subtopic, and I wrote all of the questions down that I missed on that paper, so I didn't just have a big pile of like all the stuff I missed. So like as you're getting closer to test day, you can go back and say, okay, I'm bad at endocrine, which I use for my example, and shift through your endocrine notes and the rationale that you wrote down for those. 5, when you are taking NCLEX, remember your ABCs and your safety. So NCLEX is a broad exam, and I feel like they test you on, are you a safe nurse? Are you a competent nurse? Are you going to do what is right in life-threatening situations or potentially life-threatening situations? It's on your ABCs and your safety. Also, prioritization. So when you're looking at different patient scenarios or who the nurse should see first, keep in mind like urgent versus non-urgent, and actual versus potential hazards. So for example, someone is cyanotic to tachypnic, that is a actual and urgent issue, versus someone who is maybe breathing a little fast, but they're not cyanotic. You would choose the patient who is cyanotic over the non-cyanotic patient, because the cyanotic patient is already showing signs of significantly decreased like respiratory efforts, breathing. Number 6, keywords. So when you are looking at any question, any practice question that you're doing, it doesn't have to be UWorld, it doesn't have to be Saunders questions or Kaplan. When you're looking at the question, you need to pick out the keywords of that question. What I mean is, specifically, is it asking what the nurse's first action should be? Is it asking what the nurse's best action should be? So first versus best. Best action is if you can only do one thing and one thing only, what are you gonna do? Versus if they're asking you what is the first action, it's assessing if you can put these steps of the nursing process in order. So if someone is coding, they're already asystole, no pulse, your first action would be maybe putting a backboard behind the patient. But your best action, credit to Mark K, would be starting CPR. So if your best action is if you can only do one thing. So if we can only do one thing, we're not going to choose the backboard. Because if it's asking for the best action and you only put the backboard behind the patient, that's it. Best action is one action and one action only. You put the backboard behind the patient, what is that going to do for them? So other keywords are pay attention if it's asking for further teaching. If it's asking for further teaching, you are going to go through your head and think of, okay, what are appropriate nursing actions? And then you can go from there to cross off appropriate nursing actions and narrow your answers down to inappropriate nursing actions, which further teaching. Straight understanding of teaching would be, okay, so I'm looking for actions that align with the nursing actions that are indicated for this disease process or for this situation. So pay attention to those keywords. They will make or break you, not only on NCLEX, but all of your nursing exams. The last tip of advice I have for you guys is do not overwhelm yourself. I have put out these videos, these NCLEX study videos, in order to try to help some people, but what I do may not work for everyone, so do what works for you. If you can't do 75 questions a day, just make sure that you're doing something. If you don't want to read all of the Saunders book, don't do it. I solely just wanted to share with you guys what I did, what worked for me. If I had to go back, the order of my study layout would look more like maybe listening to Mark K lectures, then going back and doing questions over what he lectured to evaluate if I kind of understood what he was saying or if it aligned. The audio that I listened to was, I think it was pretty, I don't even know how old it was, but he said in one of his lectures was that it's not going to be one of them and it's not going to be all of them. 2017 NCLEX changed the rules and it now can be one or all for select all that apply. So keep that in mind, but just don't overwhelm yourself. Don't study so hard that you just spiral down into a mental breakdown and like can't do anything anymore. I think that the burnout in nursing school is real. I think the burnout in studying for NCLEX is so real. Like, by the time it was time for me to take my test, I was like, I'm so over this, like, just let me get it done. But I just made sure that I was just on it to keep studying, because me personally, if I don't prepare myself in all the ways possible before I go and sit down and take that test, my thoughts in my head during testing won't be, okay, I can do this. It'll be, okay, I didn't prepare enough. I'm not ready for this, and I'll just start freaking out. So prepare yourself according to your own personal standards. Don't go and try to do everything that everyone else is doing. Just assess what works for you, and what's best for you. But all much for watching. I hope this answered more questions for you guys, and gives you encouragement. Remember, you can do this. I'm rooting for you. You're gonna be a great nurse.